Okay, now I'm going to handicap you. By that I mean you're going to have to identify the type of question this is, okay? Now again, that's going to be the trickiest part, right? Like what's going on here. But once you get that part, it's pretty straightforward from there. Read this question. This person wants to withdraw 500 every month for 3 years when she's away at university. How much should she put in now? Is the question. So what kind of a question is this? You have the options up there in terms of the formulas. So after 3 years, not today, after 3 years, she wants to be able to withdraw 500 every month, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But how much should she put in right now is the question. So is this a present value question, future value question? What's going on?
Present value.
How do you know?
Because she's putting the money in now.
Okay, so present value is, which one is it? It should be this one. This one's present value. So we have P, I don't know why it's called P there, which is kind of annoying here. Let me pull up another one because I think we're used to a different one, which is MCR3U formula. It's this one. We're used to this one, so let's pull this. The other ones are the same, right? Simple interest is very simple. Let's use this. So we're looking for present value, PV. So what do we know? PV, R, N, I. What do we know here?
PV is the unknown.
Right, yes, that's correct.
R is 0.035 divided by 12.
Nope, that is I, okay? R is the recurring payment.
So is R 500?
Yeah, R is 500. So 0.035 divided by 12.
N is 3.
3, just 3?
Oh, 36.
Right. So 3 times 12, this is 36. I'm trying to fix my calculator because it's in a different form. What would work? So 0.035 divided by 12. Okay, that gives me 0.0029. All right, so we're going to use this formula. PV is equals to R, 500, 1 minus 1 plus 0.0029, R negative 36, all over 0.0029. Right. What do we plug in the calculator first?
1 plus 0.0029 to the power of negative 36.
Okay, try that.
I got 0.901.
Okay, and then do 1 minus that.
And then I divide.
Mm-hmm.
I got 34.137.
That's actually right. Yeah, and then what's the last step?
You multiply by 500.
That's right.
$17,068.965.
All right. So if this person puts in this much money today, okay, today, then he can withdraw 500 for every month for 3 years. Now, if I asked you, how much interest does he earn by doing this?
Do you multiply by 12 and then by 3?
Multiply what by 12 and 3?
500?
Yeah, that's right. So the amount he gets paid is actually 500 times 3 times 12, which is 18,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do we find the interest that he made?
You subtract?
Yes, so 18,000 minus 17,068.79. And that'll give you the interest that he earned, which is a pretty significant amount of money, to be honest. He earned $1,000 almost over 3 years. Yeah, and then he only put in 17,000. If you do the math, right, how much did he actually earn? This 931.21 divided by the initial amount. So we're trying to find how much did he earn actually in interest over the 3 years. Times 100%. He earned 5.45%. Okay, it's true interest, which is pretty high. Usually banks, it's less than 1% with banks. So if you get a deal like this, you should probably take it. All right, where were we? Okay, we're trying to do this next. To identify FV, PV, simple interest, compound interest.
Present value?
Yeah, again, it's a present value because the computer that she did buy, she bought it today, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's already bought it. So, and what are they looking for? They're looking for the original cost, which will be the money that she paid today. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's R?
$72.
All right. What's N?
2 years.
It's being compounded bi-weekly. What do we multiply the N by?
52.
No, 52 is a weekly. Try again. Bi-weekly. Every other week. Multiply it by 26, okay? Then that'll be coming 52. Bi-week is 26. Same thing as semi-annually. That's twice a year. Bi-weekly is twice a week or every 2 weeks. We know that's 0.128. What do we divide this by?
12.
Nope.
Oh, 52.
Nope.
26, sorry.
So 0.128 divided by 26, and that gives us 0.0049. Yeah. Again, very simple. Once you have these things, R is 72, 1 minus 1 plus I. So 1.0049 to the power of negative 52 all over 0.0049. Once you plug this in, well, if you know how to do it, it takes you like 10-20 seconds.
I got 3,306.123.
I got something similar, but I'm a little bit off, and I know what happened here. So the exact value is this, which is why we need to figure out what the answer button is on your calculator. What was it called again? TI, what was it?
TI 30XA.
Okay, let me see if there's anything. Nope. I don't get an easy question on this. Let me see. I don't see an answer button at all. But let's try something. We're going to experiment with this calculator. This is the one that you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good picture. Let me make it this bigger. Is there a thing called STO?
Yes.
Is there a thing called recall? Okay, here, try this. Do, I don't know, anything. 1 divided by 2 equals,
Uh-huh.
and then press STO, and then press 1.
And
Okay.
then what do I do?
Now do RCL, and then press 1.
Mm-hmm.
Does it give you anything?
No,
Or if you press equals to, what does it give?
it's still 0.5. But there's like an MI on the corner of like the numbers.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, let's try something different now, because I think this is it. We're going to do pi divided by 2. Press equals. Then press STO1, and then press equals if you have to. I don't know about this. And then do RCL, and then press 1. And I don't know if you need to press an equals, but. And tell me, when you do this, what do you get? RCL and 1.
I don't get anything.
Hmm. What about STO and 1? Did it store?
And nothing's changing.
This one it worked though with the RCL. How did you get the M1 thing? Because that's what the goal is. Maybe we don't need to press equals. I don't know. Try this again without the equal sign. Pi over 2 equals first. That one you have to press equals, I think. You'll get 1.57 something. Press
Mm-hmm.
STO1, and then press RCL1.
Now there's an M1 in the corner.
What does it say? Does it still say 1.57?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. That's the thing. Okay, now bear with me. Bear with me. We're going to use this logic. We're first going to do 1 minus 1.0049 to the power of negative 52. Do this first, press equals. And then do STO1.
Uh-huh.
Then do RCL1. And I should get the same answer as you had here.
0.224.
And then do times 72 divided by 0.0049.
Um, 3,297.98.
There you go. That's the exact answer. You were a little bit off before. I think at 300 something.
Mm-hmm.
It's because we didn't use all the decimals. You know, when you do this, we don't use all the decimals. So maybe we just need to do it for one bracket, right? Because then we can just multiply and then divide. So I'm going to use this logic for one of the brackets. Anyways, for this question, does she owe the shop the money, or interest, sorry. Does she owe them interest, or is she earning interest?
She owes them.
Yeah, so how much interest does she owe? Or how much did she pay in interest to them over the years? So you need to find the actual amount that she paid, right? She paid $72 bi-weekly for 2 years.
So 1,728. And then do I subtract that from something?
How'd you get 1,728? We're doing 72, yeah? Times, what does bi-weekly mean? 26, okay? Bi-weekly means
Oh, okay.
26. And then times 2 for the 2 years. Then you do this minus this thing, 3297.98.
446.02.
There we go. So she ended up paying 446.02 just in interest over 2 years, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the thing. People make money from the interest actually, because not everyone has like, I don't know how much it is, 3,000. That's an expensive computer. I don't know what she bought, but you can buy like a nice Chromebook for 400 bucks. Or you could buy an iPad, or I don't know if that'll help you though in school. Like, I guess that depends on the program you're in. In some programs, like it doesn't work on Mac, like the Mac OS that you have on Apple computers and whatever. It doesn't work on, the software doesn't work on them. I know personally, like we are told to use Windows just because it's more compatible. Anyways, let's look at this. Brandon hit the jackpot. He receives $50,000 from a long lost relative. Then he's going to deposit this into an account. Okay, what do we know here? Is this PV or FV? Or is this a component? It could be anything.
PV.
Yeah, it's a PV. So PV, R, I, and N. So what's PV?
50,000.
Right. What's R?
The unknown.
Yeah. What's I?
0.00875.
Yeah, that's right. What's N?
60.
No.
Oh, 20.
20. Yeah, 5 times 4. Okay. So we have 50,000 is equals to R. We don't know what that is. 1 minus 1 plus this will just be 1.00875 to the power negative 20 all over I, 0.00875. Okay, now this is how you're going to do this. You're going to plug this in first in the calculator. Okay. This entire bracket, you can plug it in one step, and then whatever you get, you're going to divide that with this denominator, step 2. And then step 3, whatever you get, you're going to do, actually, you're going to have to recall that, right? Yeah, no, do this first, do this step 1 and step 2. Because we're looking for the exact answer, because if it's like right now in the online tests, it only lets you put in a final answer. And even if you're off by a couple of cents, it's going to say you're wrong. That's why.
I got 18.274.
You did the first step and the second step.
Mm-hmm.
And now what you want to do is you want to do store 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want to do 50,000 divided by recall 1.
I got 2,736.02.
Yeah, perfect. There you go. That's the exact answer. Okay, that's the exact answer. Like I know it was 18.274, but if you did not include these digits, you might be off by a couple of cents. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
which might make it the wrong answer. It might tell you you're wrong. So this is the amount of regular withdrawal. Is he making money through the interest, or is he paying them interest?
He's earning interest.
How much interest did he earn over 5 years? Tell me this number here. What minus what? Well, something minus 50,000, right? How much money did he actually earn over 5 years? You do,
54,720.
yeah, exactly 0.4, I think. You did this times 5 times 4, right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
You do 4 times a year for 5 years, so 54,720.4. So therefore he earned 4,000 over almost $5,000 actually in interest, which is also really good, right?
Uh-huh.
So basically the thing is, if you are earning money from the bank, you want to maximize this, right? You want to maximize this. But let's say you owe the bank money, you have to pay them interest, you're gonna have to minimize this. And doing this is, it's gonna take some research, right? Because there's so many options available. There's like, I'm not even kidding, there's probably thousands of options. As you can think of banks, there's like credit unions, there's like, some yeah. There's too many ledgers, yada yada. Look around and you want to see which one lets you minimize something or maximize something. But then at the same time, some of them could be a little bit risky. It's not all gonna be like, they're not all consistent. Like a major bank like RBC, TD or something, they're reliable, they're dependable, right? And then you have some online banks like Tangerine, they're reliable as well, but they're completely online. They don't even have a single branch that you can walk into.
Mm-hmm.
So the question becomes, how much do you want the actual walk-in banks? Let's say this one will pay you $100 extra a year. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This one, Tangerine, pretty famous, doesn't have a physical branch. They're completely online. TD, you can walk in. They have hundreds of branches all over Ontario or Saskatchewan or anywhere. Which one would you personally pick? There's no wrong answer to this. It's all about the preference.
I don't think I know yet.
I think, okay, yeah, that's good enough. So I don't know, it depends on like how often do you bank, or usually I would pick this just because like if I have an issue or something, I can just walk in.
Mm-hmm.
But with this one, if you have an issue, because the only way to contact them is through email or through phone, and then sometimes you're going to be stuck on the phone for hours.
That's not fun.
Yeah, that's not fun. But at the same time, like how much do you value your time, right? Because they are going to pay you more overall. So yeah, it usually comes down to preference, which bank you choose. Yeah, it's about, it's not only about the money. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's also about like comfort and being consistent and this and that. Let's look at this. This one's tricky. This thing, RRSP, I'm gonna give you a hint. Okay, this thing, everyone does this. Well, it's not compulsory, I guess, but when you get the chance, eventually, if you have some money to spare every month, you should put some money into this because it pays you a decent interest. But this thing, you're only putting money in once, okay? You're only putting money in once, only once. Keep that in mind. But this thing, RIF, it pays you. How are they paying? It pays you. This one is compounded monthly, so it pays you monthly. So this is a two-part question. Okay, this is a two-part question. Any ideas on how to attack this? So basically, this guy's put in $1,500 into this bank account, which it holds for 20 years. And then after 20 years, he wants to be able to earn some money every month for 15 years. The question is, how much money can he plug out every month? Or how much money are they going to pay him every month for the last 15 years? It's a two-part question. What's the first part and what's the second part? PV, FV, simple interest, A, compound interest, what's going on in the first part. With the RRSP, again, you're only putting money in once. Keep that in mind. It's going to be one of the three above. It's not a simple interest question. In fact, simple interest is super outdated. It does, some banks do offer though. It's not like, but again, you are more interest with compounds. So it's very, very rare. Simple interest. Maybe in
Is
only
the first one compound?
Yes, it is. First one is compound. Okay, first one we're gonna A equals P1 plus IN. So what's APIN for the first one? So from here to here is the compound interest bit. So
P is 15,000.
1500. Yeah, that's right. P is 1500.
Oh,
What's I?
um, 0.055.
I think you did that right. 0.11 divided by 2. Yeah, 0.055. What is N?
40.
Yes. What's missing? A, right?
Mhm.
Very easy plug and chug, very easy. So P is gonna be 1500, which is not a lot. Usually people put more and more into this. It's not like you just put it once, right? In fact, you can have it so that a proportion of your paycheck goes into this because 1500 is not that much. So 1.055 to the power of 40. This one, you don't need to do any recall stuff. Can you just plug this in the calculator? And tell me the answer to the nearest cent, which means 2 decimal places. Money is usually gonna be in, always gonna be in cents.
$8.51.
Times. No, you don't have to do that, right? You can just do this. 1500 times 1.055 to the power of 40 equals 2. And that'll straight up give you the final answer in one line.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to do the recall thing here.
127.69.96.
Yeah, so there you go. His 1500 became this after 20 years, yeah?
Mhm.
Let's look at the second part. We know this RRIF thing pays you monthly. So is this a future value question or a present value question? Anything that pays monthly becomes a FV, it becomes an annuity, okay? PV or FV up there. So which one is this? After 20 years, after this, he wants to be able to withdraw every month.
Is that present value?
Yeah, it is. It is a present value question. Okay, what do we know here?
I is 0.0058.
Okay.
R is the unknown.
Yeah, R is the unknown. What's PV and what is N?
N is 180.
Yes. What about PV? Remember, he's putting this, you see this?
So that's PV.
Yeah, that's PV. His RSP after 20 years turned into, okay, see, he converted RSP into this. So this one, the future value from the first one, the final amount, becomes the present value here. Okay? Like
Okay.
this. So again, if you look at these, look at this. We know it's a present value question. R is missing. 1 minus 1 plus, so 1.005833 to the power of negative 180 divided by 0.005833. All right, again, how do you do something like this on the calculator? Step 1, plug in the square bracket on your calculator as you see it. Nothing fancy required. You're just going to plug this in to the power of negative 180. That's going to be first step. This will give you some answer. And in the second step, you're just going to straight up press that over the interest rate.
I got 111.258.
Okay, what do you think we do next?
You divide?
No. We see this entire thing is times R, right? This is what you do. Third step. You're going to divide, that's right, but you're going to first have to store this, okay? Now store this.
Oh.
STO1, and then you're going to do 12769.96 divided by recall 1, because this is the only way where it's going to give you the exact answer to the nearest cent. You're going to store whatever you got, the 127 thingamajig, or whatever it was, 111. Store that, and then you're going to do divide. Are you able to do this or no?
Wait, so what do I do?
So you found the answer here, right? It was 114.77 something. You want to then do STO1. Store this number, okay? And then you want to do, because we know we're dividing both sides by this, we want to do 12769, this number here, 0.96, divided by recall 1 to bring the exact number to all the decimal places. First store this number by doing STO1, and then you want to do this divided by recall 1, and that'll give you the final answer for the R.
I got 1142.515.
1142. No, we're doing this divided by 114.77-ish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if you stored it properly. If you do that, the final answer that you'll get for R is 12769.96 divided by, actually you may have done it right. No, you didn't. 111.26. That's what I got. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean? He earns this money, which is not a lot. What's he gonna do with $100? He earns this much every month for 15 years. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Gonna do something new this time. Was the same thing. So here's a question for you. How much interest did he earn over 35 years? Because this money was sitting in this bank account for 20 years, and then it sat in this bank account for 15 years. Initially, he only put in 1,500, right?
Uh-huh.
How much did he actually end up earning? He earns this every month for 15 years. So that's his final amount that he's earned, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
111.26 times 12 times 15 minus 1,500. So he actually earned, which is a lot, but again, it's over 35 years. He earned 18,526.80 just in interest. Okay, that's over 35 years. So he earned about, on average, he earned about $500 in interest.
Okay.
Let's see if that's feasible. Actually, we're gonna just check out the current RSP rates. So how much did this guy earn? He was earning 11% for some reason, which is a lot. Show me the rates. Yeah, look at this. Nah. Even with the bonus, you get like 2.25%. There's some where this guy is getting 5%, or sorry, 4% over 5 years. I don't know how we got this deal. 11%, that seems a little bit off. So this is a little bit unrealistic, but at the same time, the idea is the same, right? You may not earn 18,000, probably earn like 12,000, but the idea is the same.
Okay.
And again, even for that, you gotta shop around. We just click the first few Google searches. Maybe if you put into something like Tangerine, where you don't have to withdraw it, because they can't afford to give you more money simply because they don't have a lot of like bank staff to pay it to, right? Because if you think about banks, like normal banks like TD, Scotia Bank, whatever, they have hundreds of branches where they need to pay the bank staff, they need to pay the rent, they need to pay the fees like hydro, yada yada. But if you don't have any of these, like some of these online banks, then you can afford to pay your customers a higher interest rate.
Uh-huh.
So maybe he struck a deal, or maybe he found gold. This one, we're going to work our way from back to top, from the bottom to the top. All right, let's do this. What kind of question is this?
What does finance mean again?
Finance means she got it right now. She's able to drive that vehicle home.
So it's present value?
Mm-hmm. So what do we know? We have PV, we have R, we have I, we have N. So what do we know here?
PV is 13,500.
That's right.
Um, N is 48.
Yeah.
I is 0.00352.
Yes. 325, I think. What about R? R is the missing piece of the puzzle, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Boom. So again, we have 13,500. That is equals to R. We don't know what it is. We don't really care. 1 plus, again, 1 plus I, you can just do 1 plus that. Whenever you do this, the first digit, the first zero just turns into a 1 because we're just adding that with 1. So it becomes 1.00325 to the power of negative 48 all over 0.00325. Okay, you tell me what R is. And remember, you may have to use the STO1 and RCL1 buttons. What is R to the nearest cent, which means rounded to 2 decimal places? We've done this a few times now. I'll do it as well.
When do I use the STO thing?
Once you do this divided by this. First do this bracket, step 1. Step 2 is you just divide that by this. Step 3 is you do STO1. Step 4 is you do this value, 13,500 divided by recall, RCL1. STO is for store, RCL is to recall what you stored.
I got 304.21.
Yeah, that's the exact answer, okay? 304.21. And then here's just a quick note. There's a button called answer in most calculators, okay? Most modern calculators. So instead of having to store it, you can just do this step is completely out. If you use a modern calculator or a different calculator, then you just do 13,500 divided by ANS. So it eliminates one step. Okay.
Okay.
B. So that's the amount she pays every month for 4 years. It's a pretty cheap car. Maybe it's a used one. Now, even the cheapest cars are like $20,000. Maybe it'll go down. I don't know if the recession hits. Okay, dealership told that her payment, that the dealership is trying to scam her. And dealerships are very, very sketchy, by the way, car dealerships. It's a very well-known fact.
So they just lied to her?
They just lied to her, yeah. They straight up lied to her face.
Does it like happen often?
Yes, it does. Or they mislead you. Maybe they don't straight up lie to you. Maybe they mislead you and they don't tell you the full truth. And then there's some, you end up having to pay some extra fees. And these guys that work there, they're very good liars, or they're very good at convincing people to do things that they may not want to do. There's a whole business on this. It's pretty funny. I don't know. So usually what you want to do actually is, if you can, right? That's the issue, right? Not a lot of people can. If you can, you want to buy it with something called cash. This doesn't mean actually physical currency, okay? What this means is you straight up buy the whole car. If you do this, then they can't do anything about it, okay? Where things turn a little bit dicey is when you do finance it, where you buy a car in monthly payment plans. And that's where you get screwed, because you end up paying a lot in interest. Like right now, how much is this lady gonna pay them in interest? So she pays this every month for 4 years, but her initial car is only this much, right? Let's see how much she pays in interest just over 4 years. It's 12 times 4 minus 13,500. So she pays $1,100 in interest. Okay. If it was this, which is part B, she would pay this every month for 4 years, and then we can just find how much interest did she actually pay with that plan. 0.89 times 12 times 4 minus 13,500. So she would have paid 1950.72, yeah? So can you tell me how much extra would she have paid if she believed them?
Like $850.
Yeah, approximately $50 she would have paid extra out of her pocket.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't just walk into a car store or dealership and get a car. Like they're gonna look into you. They have the right to look into your like finance history. And if they think it's not good, right? It's something called a credit record. If that's not good, then they're not give it to you, because then you can just get the car and run off, right? Or get the car. This also happens, by the way. You get straight up get the car, yeah. You're gonna pay them zero. You pay them nothing, but you are gonna pay them like 500-600 every month. You get the car, you go somewhere else, you sell it, you pocket in 20,000, and now the loss is on them because you had no intention of buying it to begin with. Okay.
You can do that?
No, you can't. I mean, it's ethically wrong. I don't know if it's illegal. It's ethically wrong, but it'll impact your credit score, right? It'll impact your credit score. You'll never be able to buy a house or another car or do this again, and they'll send collections people after you. People do this with stolen identities. You know what that is? Identity theft.
Mm-hmm.
So people do this with identity theft because it's not on their real name. So some other poor bloke gets screwed over. It does happen. That does happen. There you go. That's 62.
That would be very unfortunate.
Yes, that would be. That's why you should not like, yeah, I don't know if you ever get those calls at home where they're like, hi, I'm calling from Microsoft, yada yada. You ever get those scam phone calls?
Yeah, I answered them for my parents.
Yeah, so yeah, don't give them your real information, basically. That's what it is. All right, let's look at this one. So this person wins this in lottery. The prize will be paid in yearly installments, each 10,000 for 10 years. What is the present value of our winnings if the current interest rates are this? So what do we actually know in this question?
R is 10,000.
Yeah.
N is 10.
Yes.
And A is 100,000.
Okay. You see, there's no formula that uses both R and A.
Oh. Is this a compound value question?
So ask yourself, right? How do you distinguish between annuities, which are these guys, versus a compound interest? Annuities, you get paid per compounding period. You get paid multiple times. Whereas compound interest, only once, okay?
So this is present value?
This is present value question, yes. So this 100,000 has no impact on the question. If that wasn't there, then nothing would change. I is 0.064, and we are looking for present value, yeah? It's gonna be $10,000 times 1 minus 1 plus 0.064, which is 1.064. Didn't even need a bracket there, to the power of negative 10, all over 0.064, like that. Okay? Pretty straightforward. So here's a prediction. Is this number gonna be less than 100,000 or more than 100,000?
More.
Okay, what makes you think that? Think about it this way, okay? How much did you actually earn over the course of 10 years?
100,000.
Yeah. So 10 years later, okay, 10 years later, you got exactly 100,000, okay? So today, was that money gonna be worth more or less? Here's a better question, or maybe this will help you. Let's say you have 20 bucks today, okay? You have 20 bucks today.
Mm-hmm.
Go back 100 years, maybe go back to 1923, just after like World War I was done. Would you have a higher buying power or lower buying power?
Higher.
All right, so your $20, what you could buy today with $20, you could have bought back in the day with $2. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
your $2 100 years ago becomes $20 now. Not technically, for that you're gonna have to look at the inflation rate over the, it's probably 10 times, to be honest. Let me think. It's even higher than 10 times. So if you have 100,000 10 years later, today, do you have more than 100,000 or less than 100,000?
Less.
Less than 100,000, yeah, and that's right. Money always goes down in value over time.
Mm-hmm.
10,000 that you have today won't, well, in terms of numbers, yeah, sure, it's going to be 10,000. But in terms of your buying power, it's going to be worth less than 10,000 10 years later, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So here, the final answer is actually 72,225.92. There you go. So 100,000 10 years earlier is this much money. So what does this mean? It means the buying power you have today with 72,000, yeah, whatever this was, 225 it was. The buying power that you have today with 72,000, it's gonna be the same 10 years later with 100,000. Do you see the issue with this? Let's look at the issue, and by the issue I mean we're gonna talk about minimum wage, okay? So, or let's take US, because US is the worst in this case. The minimum wage in some states in the US is $9.5. And this has been in effect since like early 2000s, okay? Now the minimum wage today is the same, it hasn't changed. Do you see the issue with this? 9.5 from back then should be worth about like 18 or something today, okay?
Uh-huh.
Because prices of everything has doubled. But no, they're still earning what they did 20 years ago. That's why people are a little bit, that's why people are unable to, yeah, buy houses, cars, yada, yada right now. Because this
But why
hasn't changed.
isn't it changing?
Oh, because people are greedy up top. They don't want to pay. I guess that's the basics of it. That's another conversation altogether. It's because the political system, it's a political system is kind of like a little bit messed up. Look at this. For a normal man, okay, to become like a president or get high in power, right? Get into the parliament or something. What you need to do is you need to go and advertise yourself, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like, these are my things. You go, you have your rallies, you have these conferences in cities, yada, yada. Do you know who pays for this? Your sponsors, okay? Your sponsors pay for this. And usually it's going to be some big company that pays for this, okay? Now, this company is paying for your entire campaign, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
In hopes that you will enact laws that will help them. They have no incentive to pay the workers higher wages because then their profits will go down. This is called lobbying. The political term for this is lobbying. And for some reason, which I don't know why, this is still legal. This is the issue right here. The fact that lobbying is legal. Lobbying basically means you sponsor a politician so that they go get in power, they get elected and get in power, and in return they help the corporation or the people or whatever. So they're going to prioritize their things. Not everyone does this, by the way. There are some genuinely nice politicians, but most of them they would rather prioritize their sponsors' interests over the general public. Yep. So that's why there's like a lot of like drama in the political spectrum every time you open the news. Maybe you'll go change that, become a politician, become a financial politician.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right, let's look at least in Canada, we have a couple of different parties. In the US, there's only two parties, so it's one or the other, and they're both not, yeah, they both have their big issues. Let's look at this. To provide an annual scholarship for 25 years, a donation of this is invested into an account. So it's already invested in. Is this a present value question or a future value question, or is this a compound value question? Or what's going on? So you put in this much money, and then you're only putting the money in one. Okay, once. Look at the read between the lines here. You're only putting it
So
once.
it's compound.
It's compound interest, right? So we know our P value. You're putting 50. This is gonna be huge. $50,000. N is 25. The interest rate is 0.055 because it's annually. Let's see how much this is worth after 25 years. So we do 50,000 times 1.055. 1 plus I is 1.0055 to the power 25. 50,000 times 1.055 to the power 25, which becomes an astronomical $190,669.62, almost quadrupled over 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good investment right there. Okay.
Okay.
But not everyone has $50,000 to invest, right? So what people do these days, especially in the US, the school is so expensive. Like, I don't know how people can even afford it. Like, we're talking about the top of the line Ivy League schools. Even if you're a local, forget about international students. Even if you're a local resident, the fees are like $100,000 a year. Okay, and then you go for 4 years, so your bill is 400,000 over 4 years. How can anyone afford this? Something like this. When they're born, right? The day they're born, you gotta start putting in a portion of your paycheck into their school account or something.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully by the time they're 18, you'll have enough money to pay. Okay, so that has also something to do with finance. Anyways, all right, let's call it a day there for today.
Okay. Thank you.